I'm being told right now that that bond, that $500 million bond that had been set and that the former president had to deal with today, has now been reduced to $175 million. So that $465 million plus bond that he was looking at has now been reduced. As of right now, we're getting this breaking news. This appeals court allowing the former president to post a smaller bond of $175 million within 10 days. David, what does that tell you?
Jose, it tells me something that you and I have talked about before, and that is the playbook is different for former President Trump. We were literally talking about this the last time you and I discussed this case. I expect for them to do something for him that's different than what you see for everybody else when they go to court. So here, he's given more time to pay less money. That's what it comes down to.
And Tristan, so what does that process look like in the courtroom there?
Do we even need to ask? I mean, honestly, this is so infuriating. I don't even know what to do. I don't even know if I care what the process is that these judges are arriving at. Whatever it is, it's flawed. I can tell you that much. I mean, David put it well. This is a different process for this person. We have decided that he gets his own private court of justice. He has a private plane. He has private clubs that he lives in. You know, apparently, you know, he basically fashioned himself his own private militia to try to take over the Capitol. You know, now he's getting his own private system of justice. This is an absolute travesty. It would not happen for anybody else. Anybody else, it would be like, sorry, buddy, you lost, pay up. For him, he gets his own set of rules.
Legally, Tristan, how is that done?
We just saw it. They just decided that the appellate court has now just decided they're going to swoop in and just change it. And that's it. And now the AG's office can now try to go up above them. I believe, you know, I don't know what the details are because you just told us. I'm guessing this is coming from the First Department, Appellate Division, First Department. That's the intermediate court here in New York that would be issuing a decision here. I don't know if there's a remedy for the AG's office to go up to the Court of Appeals, which is our high court here in New York, and try to get them to basically countermand this order. But in my view, this is, without knowing more, unless there's some sort of other extenuating circumstance that we're going to learn here, this appears to be an absolute gross miscarriage of justice.
So let's go into it, because I'm getting right now, and this literally is just coming across. So this is indeed the Supreme Court of the state of New York, Appellate Division, First Judicial Department, and there are 5 present, including the presiding judge, Diane Renwick. And I'm just getting it right now, and we can kind of learn it together as we see it. It says, the appeals having been taken to this court from an order of the Supreme Court of New York County entered on or about February 16th, and defendants appellants having moved pursuant to CPLR 5519 to stay enforcement of the order and ensuring judgment. Upon reading and filing the papers with respect to the motion and deliberation, it is ordered that the motion is granted the extent of staying enforcement of these portions of the judgment ordering disgorgement to the Attorney General of $464,576,000 conditioned on defendants posting within 10 days of the date of this order an undertaking in the amount of $175 million, permanently barring defendants Weisselberg and McConney from serving in the financial control, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then all of the other issues that we have learned since about Weisselberg and McConney not being able to serve for 3 years, barring Donald J. Trump and the corporate defendants from applying for loans in New York for 3 years, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This motion is otherwise denied, including to the extent it seeks a stay of enforcement of portions of the judgment. So it was just decided right now, David, and it was just, how do they come up with a number of 175 from 500 million to $175 million? How does this happen?
You know, they don't give us the benefit of their calculus in that order, right? Because I was sitting here trying to process that myself. But the other thing I'm sitting here thinking, and here's something that I cannot stress enough. Every day, every courtroom in America, if we go there and we sit in that courtroom, we will find someone whose back is really up against the wall because they cannot afford to pay something that they have been ordered to pay. And they will generally plead with the court to reduce the amount they have to pay, and the court may give them some leeway, but you do not see it happen like this. And let's go back to that Fox News clip. Yes, they're talking about it being a lot of money, but you're also someone who has a lot of money. One of the things that we do to try to put in perspective what fines mean in a courtroom is sometimes we'll say, you take the average American household and you hit them with a $1,000 fine, that might be crippling. The rent might not get paid. There may not be enough money for food. It's a huge, huge number. Then you ask the question, what is an $1,000 penalty for a billionaire or for someone who owns properties worth tens of millions of dollars? And in that context, that's the way you have to interpret what the court has chosen to do here. And I agree with Tristan, there's simply no logic that justifies it, and there's no moral authority that justifies it.
And I mean, Tristan, I'm just looking at this. This was actually filed at 11:06 a.m. So we're just talking about 23 minutes ago that it was filed. And so, Tristan, is it unusual that it's just a statement of a decision taken to lower it from $464.5 to $175 million? No explanation given. Tristan, no explanation normally given. Tristan, no normal explanation required?
An explanation should be required, but it isn't here. It isn't given to us here. This doesn't necessarily surprise me. A lot of times New York courts give orders that are short and light on their showing their work, so to speak. You know, we're not really seeing where this comes from. A lot of times you get very short summary opinions from courts in New York. The exception to this, wonderfully, because I think it was very helpful for all of us to see, was what we got out of Judge Engoron, where he issued these long and very carefully thought out orders explaining exactly where his analysis came from and how he arrived at the conclusions that he arrived at. And then to have that come from him and then have this other set of judges just show up and just squish it. They just drop a bomb on this and they don't give us any explanation at all. Yeah, that's enormously frustrating. And I would say it's wrong. It just shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't happen this way. We deserve, the public, the people of the state of New York deserve better than to have this happen. This is, and we have to remember, that's who the plaintiff is here. It's not Letitia James or her office or whatever. Yes, they are our public servants who are doing this on our behalf. But the plaintiff is the people of the state of New York. And we deserve better out of our judicial system than to have something like this happen, where we're not actually even getting to find out what the Wizard of Oz is doing behind the damn curtain. This is ridiculous.
Hey, everyone. MSNBC has a new and improved app. You'll get real-time alerts and analysis, live blogs, in-depth essays, video highlights, and the best 2024 election coverage. Download the new MSNBC app. Here's how to do it. You tap on the App Store on your phone. You hit search on the bottom right corner. You type in MSNBC. You click on the MSNBC app. You click on Get or the cloud icon and enjoy it.